Well, good morning, boys and girls and parents of Christ Church. It's a joy for me to be invited by Father Cole to speak to you again today, this morning. I've missed being with you here in church, and of course we've all missed being together because of the coronavirus. That's an ongoing strain for everybody, but I hope you all are managing well at this point in time, as well as you can be. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the fact that when I was growing up, I read lots of comic books. I don't know if comic books are still popular or not, but I was particularly interested in DC comics and superheroes. And one of the things that I knew about superheroes is that all of them had disguises. For instance, Superman, he was my favorite superhero. I don't know if any of you like Superman or not, but he was always, in his ordinary life, he was Clark Kent. He had glasses, and he was a reporter for the paper in the town of Metropolis where they lived. And people were always trying to figure out who Superman might be, and we were always worried that his secret identity might be revealed, that he was actually Clark Kent. But he could change out of ordinary clothing into Superman in just a moment. Then there was Batman, who he had an everyday disguise too, or identity. He was Bruce Wayne, and he wore a suit and he walked around, he looked like anybody else, but when trouble came, he could transform into Batman. And then, of course, not in the DC comics, but in Marvel comics, there was Spider-Man, who was Peter Parker, ordinary guy. There have been several Spider-Man movies, some of you have probably seen some of them, in which he got transformed into a superhero who could do amazing things. And our story today, the gospel story today, is a little bit like that, because Jesus, who had been traveling with his disciples in Galilee, which is where he was doing his early ministry, had told them that they're going to go to Jerusalem and that things are going to change from what they've been doing, and that ultimately he's going to have to die. He's going to have to go to the cross and be raised again, and the disciples are pretty upset about that, and they can't figure out why that must be and what's going on. But we're told that 6 days after he told them that he took Peter, James, and John. They were his most trusted disciples, and they went up to a mountain, to a place apart. I've been on that mountain. It's Mount Tabor. It's 11 miles from the Sea of Galilee. It's about 1,900 feet in the air, and there's nothing around it that's anywhere as high as it is. It's all flat land around there mostly, so it really stands out when you go there. But he took them up there, and suddenly he was transformed. He was transformed just like Clark Kent would become Superman, or Bruce Wayne would become Batman, or Peter Parker would become Spider-Man. He became Christ. He became bathed in this light that was brighter than anything that they had ever seen in their lives. And they saw two other superheroes of Israel's history with him, Moses and Elijah. Moses, the great lawgiver, and Elijah, the great prophet. They were standing there with him. And this was a bright vision, brighter than anything they'd ever seen. And God suddenly spoke out of the clouds and said, "This is my son, my beloved. Listen to him." And Jesus said, "Don't tell anybody about this until after I'm raised from the dead, after Easter comes. And keep it a secret." But I think he was also saying, keep it with you as a memory. Know who I really am, and carry that with you, even though we go through difficult times and upsetting times. That's something that we can share in our own lives right now, because all of us are dealing with the frustrations of not being able to live life the way we've been living it because of this illness that's all around us. We've had to change things. And I bet if you look at your moms and dads sometime, you might see that they look kind of tired, that they might look like, this is a stressful time. Take a good close look at them sometime. Listen to what they say if they've been at work or they've spent all day on meetings on the computer, and see how they're feeling. And I want you to do something for me this week, because today's Valentine's Day. also. It's February 14th, and it's a day all about love. I want you, when you're watching your parents at some time this week, and they look like they might be particularly down, or they might look like they're particularly upset or tired or frustrated or whatever, I want you to surprise them and just run up to them, throw your arms around either your mom or your dad and say, you know what, I love you. Try that. And you know what will happen? There will be a great light at that point that you will carry into their lives. That's the light that Christ gave his disciples when they were up on that mountain. It's the light of love. So I invite you to try that this week and see what happens. And I hope that you'll have a wonderful experience. So happy Valentine's Day. Remember that in all of the challenges of our life, the light of God still is shining. And you, this week, can be bearers of that light. Thanks for listening. Amen.